All right. Welcome to Parkside Chat, episode 5. We are going to be talking about spooky stuff tonight, more spooky stuff.
Hmm.
We're also streaming on TikTok tonight because Halloween Horror Nights is blowing up over on TikTok. So that's why I decided to go live. So if you're on TikTok, you're watching a side view. This is actually a YouTube live. So uh, st- come over to YouTube if you want on TikTok. I'm sure TikTok is not going to love that I just said that. But welcome everyone. I'm
Hi,
Brian.
And I'm TJ.
and I'm Liz.
We did it pretty well tonight introducing ourselves. I think
We were
we didn't,
pretty quick.
not too many pauses.
Six times the charm.
um, and so if you're joining us on YouTube, please type in the comments. We want to hear from you. And on TikTok, I'm going to do my best to look at the chat on TikTok, and maybe Liz will pull up TikTok if she
I'm
can
gonna pull it up.
multitask
I'm
in
gonna
that
pull it up
way.
now.
But yeah, we're going to talk Horror Nights, and TJ's going to kind of break down what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah, so like Brian mentioned, we're going to get into all things Halloween Horror Nights. And so we're going to talk about basically everything when it comes to food. We're going to rank the houses. We're going to talk about some of the scare zones and then the entertainment. We're also going to talk about some of the optional extras that you can do. We're going to give you some tips and tricks to work around all that. And then after all of that, we're going to play another game. We're going to do some trivia.
And I don't think
Ooh.
Liz has any idea about the game either. This was all
I
TJ
have
that produced the game
As
segment
always, yeah.
tonight.
no idea. Going in blind.
All right, so let's get into it. We're not going to push Liz away, but we're going to kind of change views here. We're going to get straight into. Well, you're not going away. You're just going to go
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, the bed is a
Surprise.
little. This is the guest bed, the media room bed, and there's some blankets over there that I should have picked up. But welcome everyone. Let's rank the houses. We're just gonna start out the gate, rank the houses. I saw that Stephanie Dating in Disney asked about the clown house, so we will talk about the clown house when we get to it. So let's get going. So we're gonna do it from the lowest ranking to the 10 to from 10, the bottom rank up to our favorite number one favorite house. So I want to, and I've kind of been saying this I've done TikTok live a few times this weekend, and I've been saying this, and just like in general, my messaging here on this ranking, this is all in fun, okay? It's really hard to actually really rank these in some kind of order because the production value for Halloween Horror Nights is so high
Hmm.
that even though we're putting these in order, it's very difficult to put them in any kind of order because the production value, the effort that goes into this is extremely high. Yes, there's lots of money that goes behind all of this, but there are people too that go into putting this on.
Hmm.
So every house has great qualities to it. So we are ranking in fun. There's different opinions out there, and if you are going to go for just one night and you're not going to buy an express pass or an RIP tour, which Liz is going to fill us in on,
Hmm.
these rankings might help you to determine, okay, these are the 5 must-do houses that I have to do when I go. That's why I think the ranking is important. So watch other people's rankings. On my Instagram stories, I am going to be linking to other people's rankings, like Adriana's with Bippity Boppity Broke, and anyone else that I'm a fan of on Instagram that I follow their content. I'm going to share their rankings too, because I think there's so much to do here, and you're going to
Hmm.
discover that as we break down Halloween Horror Nights, that if you're going for just one night, it's really hard to determine, okay, what am I going to do? So hopefully this helps you. So without further ado, because I just chat. The
You never.
right, the number 10 for us, the bottom of the list is Chucky. So this for us was kind of the least. Though I did hear a story about like the story behind the Chucky house. I thought it was interesting. And then also I was missing the big Chucky because there's a pre-show, and in the video pre-show
Hmm.
there's like a, a adult size version of Chucky with a big Chucky mask on, and he was nowhere to be found in the actual house. But someone on my TikTok said that he was actually in the house, and I guess they went 5 times, which seems crazy that they went through the Chucky house five
Wow.
times.
Hmm.
And I think 2 of the times he was there, and then 3 of the times he wasn't. So
He must have been on break.
he must have been on break.
Yeah, that had to be the case.
So that's kind of my thoughts on Chucky House. I felt like, for me, the I don't know, it was just the weakest link.
Yeah, for me, like some of it was a little repetitive, and then as far as like some of the scare actors inside, they weren't bad by any means, but some of the roles they portrayed didn't really fit the house. So I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But there was the Chucky, the doll-sized Chucky was all the way throughout there, and I
Mhm.
couldn't tell if they were making the Chucky doll move as a puppet,
In the very first room, I think they were.
okay,
Mhm.
or if it was robotics. But I mean, it was kind of cool to see the Chucky doll, progress throughout, and he gets really upset at the end. Like, he gets really pissed. Chucky has a temper, I would say. All right, so number 9, the next one is The Exorcist. Did I even say that right? I don't know.
Yes, you did.
Okay. But The Exorcist, this one I thought across the board was pretty well done. I just didn't feel attached to it in any way. And so that's where it kind of, for me, it's kind of a meh house.
Yeah, I think this is one that you would better appreciate after seeing the movie when it comes out, because this one is based off a movie that's not out yet. So while it ties to the original, it's a lot of the characters and scare actors in it are based off the new movie, and it's not out yet. So you can't really like base it off of anything.
Right.
Hmm.
All right. So, I don't have much more to say about The Exorcist. That's why it's kind of sitting on the bottom, but it's
The
it's
set
well
was
done.
done well.
The set is really done quite well. All right. So number 8, this is kind of controversial that we're putting Stranger Things so low on the list, but right now we stand by this. I stand by this. So yeah. That's where it is. There wasn't a lot of scare factor in this house. Vecna is obviously the main.
For you, yeah. I didn't notice that.
He's the main scarer in this house, but I felt like Vecna, and I followed up with this on TikTok. I felt like Vecna was just chilling in the house. Like, there wasn't a lot of pop outs, and I actually could see Vecna get a long shot of him as we were approaching. Like, oh, there he is. We're about ready to, say hi.
But no, one thing you pointed out was one of the scare actors, one of the Vecnas, was wearing Vans.
Yes.
And I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Were they white Vans? What color
They were
Vans
black.
were they?
They were black Vans, and they were Vans. They probably weren't actually Vans. They were just Van
Right.
style shoes. I
Like
didn't see a
slip-ons.
I didn't see a logo, but anyway.
There was
Gotta
one
go back.
scene. There was one scene that I thought was pretty cool, where you're looking up at don't quote me on the characters' names, I don't remember, but 2 of them, like, they're playing like a really good rock song, and there's a bunch of bats flying around, and they portray that really well. But the one thing I was really looking forward to that only happened at like the very, very end as you're like walking out the door was, it's such an iconic scene where that song "Running Up That Hill" is playing, and I was expecting that in one of the rooms, and it wasn't there until like the very end.
It's like 2 seconds.
It's like the outro music as you're leaving, and I'm like, oh.
Oh,
yeah.
that's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like there was some things that could have been beefed up in terms of the set, and we like Stranger Things. We're avid listeners.
Yeah, it's a good show.
We're avid watchers of Stranger Things. So, all right. So number 7 for us is The Darkest Deal, and this has to do with basically selling your soul to the devil, and you kind of like go underground, not by any means you're actually going
You don't
underground,
physically go.
but it takes you underground and you smell the dirt, which I kind of like that when you kind of really are surrounded.
I will say some of the houses, they actually did like touched on the senses really well, and
Right.
smell was one of the ones that they switched throughout the houses, and I thought that was really cool. It makes you remember it better.
Yes, for sure. This is not one of TJ's favorites because he doesn't like the
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of like how demonic it got. I was like, ooh,
right.
it was a little too dark for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I like the jazz element of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because it was like a New Orleans like swamp vibe.
right.
Mhm.
Okay, so number 6 is Dr. Oddfellow. His house. He is kind of like the host of Horror Nights this year. He's at the front of the park as you come in
Mhm.
this year. So uh, he's kind of like the staple, the host, and he's an original character. And yeah, I like this one. This is the clown one, Stephanie. So if you're listening, this is the clown one. And the theming is very good all the way throughout because you enter into a circus tent and you're taken through different like oddities throughout the circus tent. I like this one. And Dr. Oddfellow, I mean, he's stylized very well.
Mhm.
This is another one kind of selling your soul type one.
But not as dramatic.
Not as, yeah, definitely not as dramatic.
Mm.
He definitely is giving the Dr. Facilier vibes. I
Mhm.
mean, they basically, to me, they looked at Dr. Facilier and were like, how are we going to do this for Horror Nights in our own spin, in our own way? And I get that vibe kind of. But I liked Dr. Oddfellows. I like the exterior vibe because some of the houses you go in are just warehouse. This
Mhm.
one is actually in a temporary tent. I don't think the tent is that temporary anymore. I think it just probably stays up.
Is it the one
but-
by Men in Black?
It's kind of back by
Back
there.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of back by there. Yeah. So I like this one. TJ, do you have any thoughts?
No, yeah,
on this
I was
one?
gonna say the scare actors. I like the costumes in those. Those stood out to me.
Yeah. So with the clowns, they don't have Stephanie. Stephanie's like Liz, where she doesn't do the scary, which we definitely got to get you guys into Horror Nights. I think you would really like it.
Me and Stephanie can have a few bites in the beverage somewhere else on property and then meet you after.
So the clowns, they don't have like clown masks on.
Mm-mm.
So they're more kind of like a little bit of makeup. They're not overly clowny in your face clown, which I kind of liked. It can be overplayed. So I don't feel like they were stylized in the way that it's an overplayed, oh, just another clown. It's much more of a circus sideshow rather than like an It or
Mhm.
Jack the Clown who's an original character within Halloween Horror Nights. Would you call it Halloween Horror Nights lore? I don't know if that's how you would call it. Cheyenne's here on TikTok. Hi, Cheyenne. How's it going? All right. So are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So Last of Us is number 5. I like this one. I especially liked when TJ pointed out to me the spores that were flying in the air, and they looked almost to me like real, like
Yeah,
video game-ish, like real. I don't know how they were doing it.
I feel like it was a mix of like actual, like, I don't. How would you describe, like, it's not snowflakes, but it's like actual pieces, and then I feel like they mixed a projector in there as well to kind of give it a good mix. But yeah, that was done really well, and then I like that both Joel and Ellie, the scare actors that they put in there, were like very similar to the characters in the video game.
I agree.
Mhm.
For me, it was like you had friends there, like the heroes that you see in the video game and in the show were there with you, like protecting you,
Hmm.
kind of ish, like it felt like you were in the action. Where sometimes with the houses, you're like the victim and you're just, walking through. I kind of like that element to The Last of Us, that you had comrades, I guess, as you walk through, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and then the one of the towards the end, there's a character like one of the bloaters, where it's just like a huge zombie type one that's infected, and the prosthetics and the skin that they put on that was so like lifelike. Like when they jumped at you, you could see the skin flapping, and I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. I wasn't scared by any means,
No.
but I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Where is it set? Is it set like in the mall or is it set like
Some of it's
like a-
outside, and then some of
Okay.
it's in like a house.
It starts with the crash.
Yeah, it starts on a set, like within the show or
Yeah.
in the video
Cool.
game.
It's kind of like I would say snapshots. You know, it doesn't really tell a story per se. It gives you snapshots that are familiar to you as you go through. Whereas there's some other houses, probably really the ones that are in our top 3, that truly tell more of a story from start to finish.
Hmm.
All right, so moving forward, and we're sorry with the cameras. Hopefully, we're doing the best we can with these cameras. But Liz had some fun with the cameras a few seconds ago. Liz,
I
you can
know. I
change the
tried to
cameras.
remember. No, I was trying to remember how I can make it be when someone's speaking.
All right.
To like.
So Liz is also putting in a few comments. So she let us know that there's a few questions that came through. So Cameron asks, which house was the longest wait? So to be honest, we had an express pass, and thank you to Star Stuff Travel for providing the express pass. If you're gonna go for one night only, we're gonna talk more about this in a few. Liz is gonna present your different options for experiencing Horror Nights. If you're gonna go for just one night, get the express pass. It's totally worth it because if you want to do all the houses,
That's the only way to do
that's
it.
the only way to do it in one night, pretty much, unless you do an RAP tour, which Liz will cover. So the longest wait for us was actually Chucky, which was not always the longest wait for Standby.
No.
But I think we kind of discussed that they were kind of mismanaging the line, I think, or that there was something that could be fixed with the line somehow.
Yeah, there was like a very long pause.
Yeah.
Like while we were standing in line at one point, and we could even see some of the crew that was managing the line like keep looking forward, like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
So something must have been going on.
So that was our longest wait was, even though we had express pass. When you have express pass, you're still going to wait a little bit because these lines are long. They can get up to, like, I think Stranger Things at some point in the night was 120 minutes. So that's 2-hour wait for Stranger Things. So they can get long. So your express pass is just going to help shave a lot of that time off. But it's not an instant walkthrough for express pass because they're selling quite a few of those express passes.
Yes.
All right, then Liz also says someone watched, is it more TV show or video game? So The Last of Us is more video game. That's what's presented. The PS3, or excuse me, the PlayStation logo, PS3. Why did I say
You went back
PS3?
like
I
2
went way
generations.
back.
Jeez.
The PS logo the PlayStation logo is there on the entrance to the house. So it is much more geared towards the video game, probably because they don't have the show rights to show the actors' faces. So it's focusing more on the video game, which I think is how it should be, because we should be focused on we should be focused on what it was, which is a video game first. That's what I believe. So,
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to keep going. Let's see. I got to get back here on my list. So number 4, we are at Universal Monsters.
I think that one was so well done. And then one of the rooms was an opera room, and so the classical music was kind of get you in your feels, and I was like, this is actually really scary.
Yeah.
It was good.
I love the opera scene. So of course the opera scene is attached to Phantom of the Opera, and he doesn't have his mask on. His mask is off because it's Universal Monsters Unmasked. And then we have Dr.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Thank you. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, right? I don't know.
Yeah. They kept mistaking it for the werewolf from last year.
Right.
But it wasn't.
And then we had the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which he never really has a mask, does he? I guess he does. He has a jester mask at some point. So I guess he's technically unmasked. My favorite part of this is the beginning. That would be the opera scene and the beginning, because at the beginning, as you enter, it's raining. But as I said before, it's raining in a polite way.
It's not like torrential downpour.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, you like feel like, oh, okay, like there's like, and not even a mist, like a drop. Oh, I feel a drop here, a drop there. It's very small drops, and you're not to get you soaked, but you get that vibe. So, okie dokie.
But comment on some comments.
Okay, go for it.
Some people came over. Hey Kyle, he said we will be there 10:15. I believe we will be there on that same night. So I'm sure we will run into you. And then Cheyenne made the jump over here. Cheyenne.
What's up,
Welcome
Shane?
in.
So Chelsea says, look at Chelsea's picture. Oh my, scandalo.
I love it.
She's saying, the express pass costing more than the price of the ticket is so annoying.
That is one of the downsides.
Kind of annoying. So we're going to talk more about that here in a few.
Very
All right.
VIP.
Very VIP. All right. So number 3 for us is Blood Moon. I would call this the sleeper hit of Halloween Horror Nights. It's the first house that you will see as you come in. And normally that first house, based on my very limited experience, that first house is always kind of like the back burner house. Or definitely they want people to walk
Like the people
further
eater.
in. Yeah, kind of a people eater house.
Mhm.
This house is definitely in our top 3.
Mhm.
And I've heard a lot of other people say that it's great as well. Liz, are you catching the comments on TikTok? I just want to make sure if you can catch any questions or comments on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, Liz is going to pull your questions over to YouTube. Okay. So this is definitely a sleeper hit for us. We didn't even know it was going to be about as we walked in, but basically it's kind of like a cult. Oh, Liz is
Matt. Matt.
Liz, we're gonna remove Liz for a second there. Okay. Her internet's glitching and she's yelling at her husband to turn off the Wi-Fi. It's a live show.
All right, so Blood Moon.
So it's about an occult, and so you actually walk through a village, a 1700s
Like Salem
witch-ish village, but this is not really about witches. It's about a cult. And I mean, it's just,
from what I've seen, it's like
details is very good.
So the story behind it is the cult is them worshiping the moon, and as you walk through it, you see people that have died because they don't worship it, and so it's just this big cult thing that you go through. And then one of my favorite scenes or rooms is you're walking through, like you enter the door of a church, and you're walking down, and you see the pews, and then there's a lot of people like laying on the pews. But some of them are actual scare actors, and then they jump out at you, so you don't know which is which, because some of them are props as well.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and then as you leave, they're standing.
Right.
Okay, so Steph, if Dating Disney's still here, this is the house that you would not have any business going into.
Yeah, this is the one you would avoid.
This is kind of like the scary one where like you're walking through and you don't know who's going to be the scare actor with all these cloaked people.
And not only that last room, there's another room where there's a mirror towards the end of it, and it's just you just see your reflection, but there's actually somebody behind it. So you think it's like a bigger room, but it's actually someone back there waiting for you.
Yeah.
It actually got me.
Yeah. Stephanie says sounds horrible. It's actually it's good because here's the thing, and this is because I don't like the horror too. I'm like I don't really love the pop out stuff, but this is the thing. Like you prepare yourself, like that one of those one of those standing people is gonna be a scare actor, and that you're probably going to get got with them scaring you. Actually, the only house that I really got was Monsters, and that was the first house.
Yeah.
And I turned my head, and there was like, what was it? I think it was Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, whatever the character's name, and he was like right there. I was like, what the heck? And that was I got there. I got got.
All right, let's bring Liz back in.
Okay, Liz, are you back?
I don't know what happened. I muted myself because I knew that something was going wrong, and then
something was happening.
And then I could hear Matt from downstairs. So I was like, okay.
Oh,
guess
wait.
it didn't actually mute. My computer is really having a malfunction.
Yeah, and then I tried.
Okay now.
And then I tried to mute you, and it wouldn't mute you. But you know what? It's live, so we're having fun.
Sorry.
Everything's good. No worries.
I'm a human. Good thing I didn't drop curse words.
It's fine.
There you go.
Everything's great. All right. So number 2 for us is.
Oh wait, Chelsea had a question.
Oh, okay. What's Chelsea's question? Someone put it on the screen.
I'll do it.
You guys go a lot. Do you get the VIP pass every time? No. We're going to talk all about that here in a second, and we're going to give pro tips on it. Okay, so Adventures with Mike and Steph. Hello, Adventures of
Hi.
Mike and Steph. Thoughts on Chucky and Exorcist houses? Haven't been through them and heard mixed reviews, and I want to hear your opinions. Spoiler free. Go back and rewatch this once we're done with the live because we've already covered those houses, so
Mhm.
we're gonna keep moving. So we always these lives are always there for you to watch later. So go back and watch.
But spoiler free, they were kind of on our lower end of the list.
They're on the low end. We're going
Mhm.
up, and they're definitely not at the top of our list. So they're actually our bottom two.
There's
So,
good parts in it, but if you go back and watch, you'll see
yeah,
why.
go back and watch.
Mhm.
All right, but thank you for joining. And then Mike and Steph, if you have another question, feel free to put it up.
Mhm.
But hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to go over to Liz, see if anything.
One's a dupe, so I think Mike and Steph may have
Yep,
also been watching
it.
on TikTok, or someone else with the same
All right,
question.
cool, awesome. All right, so we are going to go to number two. Number two for us is Yeti.
Mhm.
For me, I liked Yeti because of a very consistent visuals. It's campground kills, so
Mhm.
you're in a campground, you smell the pine trees, you see the Yeti throughout, and he's very big, larger than life.
And then I think there was a good mix of scare actors that weren't just like Yetis. There were like camp counselors. There were
Someone was looking for Billy. Do you remember that?
yeah.
Where's Billy?
There was a mom looking for Billy. Yeah, it was a good mix of characters.
I really like this one,
Mhm.
and
Me
it's
too.
our number two.
Yeah.
Now, I did give TJ the opportunity to have his own list if he didn't like how I tallied up and ordered, and he said you agree with my list, right?
So what's number one?
Number one is Dueling Dragons.
Yeah, I would. The only two I would switch are Yeti and Blood Moon. I put Blood Moon second.
So Kyle is saying, did you see the baby Yeti? I didn't.
There was a baby Yeti. Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh well. I
So
didn't see
you
it.
might have been like looking forward, but it was on the right hand side as you're walking. There was a lady. She's like saying, "Oh, I think it was like a hillbilly," and she
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, I got it," and she's like, the baby Yeti's like laying on the floor, but then the bigger Yeti comes out and like actually grabs her.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to watch. I
Yeah.
remember that scene where he's grabbing somebody.
Yeah,
and
like an
taking
actual
her-
Yeti physically grabs this lady and pulls
Okay.
her back, and then baby Yeti was on the floor.
Oh, I didn't know.
Mhm.
Okay.
No.
All right. Cool. All right, let's see. Brian and Iad, am I saying that correctly? Are they saying hello, first timer, and good evening? Well, hello. Hopefully everyone subscribe too. If you're coming over from TikTok, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We actually, I know we're kind of off topic slightly here, but we actually, TJ today spent most of the day editing our Horror Nights video,
Mhm.
which will go live tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's kind of like what we're talking about now, but like in real time, a full comprehensive guide.
And
to
we actually
Halloween Horror Nights.
rate each house with what we thought about the set design, what we thought about costume design, and what we thought about scare level.
Mhm.
So, anyway,
And we go into much more detail on the YouTube video.
yes.
So it's gonna be a little lengthy, but it covers everything.
All right. Let's talk about our number one, which is Dueling Dragons. The storytelling, it's like a beginning to end story, all in the time frame of a house.
Mhm.
So I really like that, how they can quickly tell a story. The set design was fantastic.
Mhm.
I mean, you stand in front of a castle at one point.
Right.
It's just very cool. This is not, in my opinion, a very scary one at all. I think it's good for people, and I told somebody in the comments, either on TikTok or on Instagram, that they were kind of wanted to do this one because they thought that this would be an easy one for them to do, but when everyone started ranking it top on their list, then they're scared to go because they think it's going to be scary. I would say, even though people are ranking it high, it's not that scary. So that's my opinion on it. It's very much more
Storytelling.
storytelling.
This is one that everyone can do.
Yeah. So it's Liz. This 100% you could do this one. Stephanie, you 100% could do this one as well.
And like
We'll
the biggest thing,
see.
The biggest thing for me was the end, how you can choose your ending. Where I think that's
Mm.
a first, where you can like go
Yeah,
through
that's
two
okay.
separate hallways and choose how the story ends.
Yes.
Did you split or did you both do the same?
I suggested it, but then
No.
I was like, let me not leave him. So
Yeah.
we both chose ice, and the
Don't
supposedly won.
don't. Well,
Well,
you're-
there's two endings
that's a
though.
giveaway.
Well, two endings, so it could go either way because we don't know how the other one ended. So
I wouldn't leave Steph. I would go with Steph. That would make sure you get the same one.
Kyle says he heard that there are 4 endings. Each side either loses or wins, which
yeah,
I had that thought today too. I wonder if that is the case.
where they just switch up the sayings. So,
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, this one for sure we're gonna do
Again.
several more times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Several more times. All right.
Did you
so
get the
that
full pass? What kind of pass did you get?
we will talk about that
Mhm.
when you talk about
Wanna
your
bring it
stuff.
up? Okay.
When you bring it up. All right, so that is our ranking of houses. I'm gonna, for those who are here, I'm gonna share the rank one more time because I know that you're here live and maybe you wanted to hear our rank. We're gonna go it one more time without saying anything. So number 10 of the bottom list is Chucky. Number 9 is The Exorcist. Number 8 is Stranger Things. Number 7, The Darkest Steel. Number 6, Dr. Oddfellow. Number 5, The Last of Us. Number 4, Universal Monsters. Number 3, Blood Moon. Number 2, Yeti. And number 1, Dueling Dragons. Okay, so that's our list. And we are now going to talk about scare zones and special entertainment.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go really briefly on these scare zones because there's not much to it. This is just the in-betweens of walking to different houses. So when you first walk in, the very first one is Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror. And so basically when you walk in and then immediately to the right, there's gonna be a stage where he performs and says his sayings for the whole of Halloween Horror Nights. And then he'll like kind of walk around and interact with the guests, which I thought was pretty cool. I think when we went, we caught the end of it. So we'll definitely have to go back and watch that again. But he does it throughout the night.
Do you want my commentary?
Yes, please.
My commentary on this is that last year's entrance was bigger. And
Yeah.
I feel like this year, because maybe it has to do with Minions,
It took that space,
it took that space.
unfortunately.
And so I feel like it's, yeah. Oh, Mikey's saying he didn't know that we were right next to each other.
Right there.
Oh, here, wait.
And I'm like,
do
hi.
it one more time. He's not
Hi.
one. Hi. So yeah, we're right next to each other. TJ and I are sitting in the same room.
Yes.
So he's actually sitting right next to me. We're pretty close. I can touch him.
Okay.
I'm only
Anyway.
900 miles away. I'm not that far.
And
Just only.
Liz is in Philly.
A quick plane trip away.
All right, so that's my feedback. And we also haven't experienced these scare zones to their
Full potential.
full potential because the first night it was raining, and when it rains, they take away some of
A lot of the
scare
elements.
actors. Yes.
Yeah.
And when we went for night 2, we were just so focused on houses. We even somehow skipped walking through certain scare zones. So. Because as we came out, remember when we came out?
That was the very first one.
We walked to the store, and we totally avoided the scare zone.
Oh, you're right.
So if
yeah.
you are wondering if you don't want to, I mean, why are you coming into Horror Nights, right? If you're going to skip the scare zones and stuff, I understand because that used to kind of be me, but they're not that scary. I think they used to be more scary in the back of the day. But, it's just me.
Anyway,
But you can avoid the scare zones.
there are ways to go around it.
There are
yes.
ways.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so the next one, which is immediately to the right of Dr. Oddfellows, is Dark Zodiac, which is basically the continuation of Dr. Oddfellow, where he enters a dark dimension, and this is all of his minions walking along the streets. And I actually like this one because there was music solely for this one, which they kind of all are, but this one was like very dark and eerie. And I felt the scare actors were a lot more rampant in this one because these are the ones that had the chainsaws. They don't have the chains on them, they just have the motor. So it makes all the noise.
But the smell, that's the best
Mhm.
part about a spooky event, is the gasoline.
Yep, so that was definitely throughout the throughout that scare zone. And then there wasn't a stage show, but there was a little like, what would you
Thing.
call it? Like a trailer with a scare actor on it that did a quick little scene that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. Ashley's saying hello. Hi, Ashley. It's
Hi.
been a long time. I'm trying to go live more on TikTok. I've seen some of my old TikTok friends from back in the day when I used to go live a lot more. So it's good to see you guys. So welcome in. We're on YouTube. Oh my gosh, my thing went away.
Okay.
My little YouTube thing. All right,
Oh,
so
you're wolf.
next scare zone.
Yeah, so the next scare zone is Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. So this one is right next to, so this is when you're continuing going down there. It's right past Mel's Drive-In, that
Yes.
restaurant. And so basically you're walking through a jungle, and this one I will say is very dense with the fog. So it's kind of hard to walk through, and you could have a scare actor or like walk right past you and you wouldn't even know. But this one, I'll say, because of the dense fog, they didn't have that many scare actors walking through it.
And something I noticed that night 1 there was a lot of fog, and night
Mhm.
2 there was minimal fog. And I wonder, because night 2 was less humid, I
Humid,
wonder
yeah.
if that was reducing the amount of fog.
Yeah, that could be a good point. And then the next one down the main street is what's that street? Hollywood Boulevard, or
I don't know. I think
it's right next to the tribute store.
I'm not sure the name of the streets.
So that one is Vamp 69 Summer of Blood. And so this one is based off the 60s music. So everyone's in like disco themed, and everyone's run rampant with, biting each other. There's scare actors with missing limbs asking for help, and it's kind of funny. But
yeah, it's much more camp than scary.
literal
It's
camp.
Yeah.
But this one is a very long one, and so this one I thought was very good.
Bless you.
Thank you. And then the last one is Shipyard 32, Horrors Unhinged. And this one was very short. This one only had maybe, like, honestly, 2 or 3, maybe 4 scare actors. There's one scare actor that's in a cage, kind of putting on a little performance. And then there's like maybe 2 or 3 walking by. And then honestly, that's about it. So that one wasn't very memorable, but it's there.
I would say scare zones last year were a little scarier.
Yeah, I will say that. And they had more space to work with, like we mentioned earlier with Minions. And then some of the special entertainment. This year they had, if you've seen the movie Megan, they had the dancers performing on one of the streets. So I believe there were like 5 or 6 of them doing like synced dances. I believe they danced to either 1 or 2 different songs, but they're both the same each time. So you have to catch them at certain hours. But they were dressed really well. I thought they did a good job on that one.
Yeah.
That was good. And then the
And I was
other one,
amazed that their hair wasn't moving that much.
I don't know, yeah. Yeah.
They were all creepily like in sync, and even their look, even though each one looked different, because obviously they're all different people, if you just pulled one aside and removed the rest, you would be like, oh, that's like Megan from the movie. So weirdly, they all looked very similar. They must have been in rehearsals for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then one of the other entertainment pieces was, if you go into Diagon Alley, the Death Eaters were finally in there. Whereas last year they were only in Islands of Adventure, which I found kind of odd, because it wasn't even during Horror Nights that they were out. They were just like out during the day.
Right.
But then during the actual Horror Nights, they weren't on that side. So this year they were.
And Diagon Alley and Wizarding World and Universal is very cool during this event, Halloween Horror Nights. They pump up really suspenseful music. It's very suspenseful. They have like fog all throughout, as well as like this green lighting that makes it very
eerie.
Spooky.
Yeah,
Very
I was tempted to I should have brought my wand. I might have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
You might.
And they have a little stage show with the Death Eaters as well,
Yeah,
which we have not done yet.
We'll have to catch that one.
No. So Kate is asking, are any houses the same from last year? No.
Nope,
they're not.
they all switched. Whereas I feel like some of them will alternate between years, like 1 year on, 1 year off. Halloween, I believe, is one of those where it's on and off. But
And
that
I think
one's
Yeti has had different variations of Yeti, but this one specifically is Campground Kills. So
yeah, I
it's a
believe
campground.
yeah. Universal mentioned that that one I believe is a variation of a previous one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now I'm sure there will be many variations of Dueling Dragons
Mhm.
throughout the years because of the attention that it's got.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions right now? So, hello, Star Stuff
Yes.
Travel. I'm gonna presume that that's Stacy, but it could be Mike too. So, hello. How much was the merch in the tribute store?
Or just how was the merch?
Or how was? Sorry, how was it? It was expensive.
How much
Yeah.
was it?
I really like the I don't forget the name of the line. It's called like Little Spooky or whatever. It's the pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
The pumpkin guy, and he's on a lot of different merchandise with a crow,
Mhm.
and there's a pumpkin little plush of him, and I love him. So Rhino was actually in the park a few days before Horror Nights started, and he snagged me one,
Mhm.
and I don't have it in my possession yet. But he's so
So
cute.
cute.
Mhm.
He's so cute, and it's the rest of the merch in that line. It's kind of a creepy vibe, but he is like so cute. So I
Mhm.
got him probably to put like, I guess, on the couch as a pillow, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the counter maybe.
The counter.
Okay.
Okay. A stuffed animal on the
Maybe
counter.
like on top of a shelf, maybe.
He
Yeah.
reads up as a pillow more, and he's kind of like pillow size.
He has a little he's a little big, so.
Yeah, he's kind of big.
Stay
so.
tuned for next week where we show the pumpkin pillow.
Right. As soon as
Yeah,
I
we'll
see
bring him up
Rhino
here.
next, yeah. So, let's see. So the other merch is good. I really, with Disney and Universal, both have really good Halloween merch this year. I don't know.
Mhm.
They've decided to employ good designers, I guess, and they are producing some great spooky merch.
But yeah, this year, along with like every other year, Universal always goes above and beyond with their tribute store. There's always a specific theme, and each room changes, but is like it goes above and beyond, and it's so well done.
And the tribute store, the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store, is open during regular park hours. So even if you do not have a ticket to Halloween Horror Nights, you can still experience it when you're just in the park,
Right.
Which is really nice. And if you're don't like the scares and you want that Halloween vibes, the Horror Nights store doesn't give the scares, but it gives the vibes. Tribute store is one of my favorite things about Universal.
Yes.
I think that Disney should be doing something similar. And really stretching Imagineering and merch to change something out seasonally. I think it is great for a dead space in the park that you aren't using for anything else. And I just love the tribute store. I love to see what they do. And right now there's two at the same time. So you have the Jurassic Park tribute store,
Yes.
and then you have the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store. And I don't know if this is the first time that's ever happened, but there are two tribute stores happening right now.
Yeah, I think my favorite is around Christmas time when they transform it. I think it wasn't last year, but the year before, where it was all, or at least every other room was Harry Potter, and it was all the
There was
Christmas
a big
scenes
Harry
from
Potter
Harry
one
Potter,
like 2 years ago.
and the music playing was like, it brought back so much nostalgia. It was
Yeah.
so fun.
Universal Christmas 2 does an amazing job. That's one of the reasons why, like 2 or 3 years ago, my annual pass, I was considering like maybe we would drop our annual pass, but I saw Universal Christmas and I was like, I'm keeping the annual pass. And it was probably 2021 because we hadn't done Halloween Horror Nights yet together. And but I saw Universal at Christmas. I was like, wow. Because Universal at Christmas, I know this is a Halloween episode, but whatever. Universal at Christmas decorates all of their lands, whereas Disney only generally decorates the front of the park. But Universal takes it a step further and decorates a lot of the park. I wouldn't say all of the park, but a lot of the park. So anyway, that's my thing. All right, so let's move on to Stay and Scream. What time are we? What are we running at?
45
here?
minutes.
We're running at 45 minutes. So I'm going to get through Stay and Scream here real quick. So Stay and Scream, we're kind of running into our pro tips now to like make the most of your evening. So if you are coming in just for one Horror Nights, maybe you're coming in for a few, but you want to make the most of it. What Stay and Scream is that the park closes at 5 o'clock. If you have a day ticket, you've maybe spent the day or you just are spending the afternoon in the park, and you stay in the park till 5 o'clock, you can stay beyond that if you have a Horror Nights ticket for that evening. What happens is they have 5 different like corral areas where you're directed to depending on the house that you want to experience. And between the hour of 5 o'clock when the park closes and 6:30 when Horror Nights officially begins, houses will open. They open in a staggered way. I don't have the list of which houses open when. I believe that on Saturday night, it was Stranger Things that started first at 5:15 p.m. For us, we were in the Monsters line. The Monsters opened at 5:45. So we did have a little bit of a wait in Monsters. But once the line opened, we were pretty close to the front of the line. And then you go through. So you have the opportunity. I don't know if you could knock 2 out within the Stay and Scream time frame, but you can at least knock 1 out during Stay and Scream. So then you're still waiting, right? But at least you're getting a head start from everyone else that's waiting on the outside to get in. Okay, so that's what Stay and Scream is. Some of the Stay and Screams have food and beverage inside the area where you're gathering, which is also nice. So you can be eating or drinking while you're waiting for the house. Okay, and some of them are larger or smaller. Pro tip: there is a Stay and Scream at the Today Show Cafe. If you're at that Stay and Scream, you can watch the opening ceremony. You watch it from like behind, so you're seeing the back of all of the people's heads or whatever as they're doing the show. But at least you get kind of a glimpse of the show. That pro tip was provided to me by one of the team members. Just know some of them are smaller. Some of the Stay and Scream areas are smaller than others, so they will reach capacity, and then you'll have to go to another Stay and Scream area. Okay. So that's Stay and Scream. That's a way that if you don't want to buy an express pass or RIP or whatever, that you can take advantage if you have a day ticket, another way to kind of make the most of your time. So that's my little pro tip on that. So now we're going to bring Liz up on stage.
I'm back
And
in the game.
she is going to go over everything with you in terms of your add-ons that you can do. So this episode, all episodes of Parkside Chat are brought to you in part by planetwithliz.com. Liz is a travel planner and she's powered by Star Stuff Travel. And so Liz can help you with all of the stuff that we're talking about, helping you, even though she's not into the scare herself, she's a pro at Universal and sending people to Universal and getting them all booked. So Liz is going to let us know what you guys can do to add add-ons to your Halloween Horror Nights experience.
Let's do it. Let's boogie. So there are a couple of ways that you can kind of maximize your time, have more time for scare zones, for attractions, whatever your plan is for your visit to Halloween Horror Nights, we can make it happen. The first thing I wanted to mention is if you're staying at a Universal resort, you get access to Chucky's. I'm blanking on the name already. Chucky's Twisted Playground.
You got it.
Yes. So they have 5 different photo opportunities for you to take pictures in, and there's also specialty cocktails at Cabana Bay and at Dockside. But you have to have your resort ID, so you can't just pop over for the day and experience this. You have to be staying on property. Secondly, as far as add-ons for your night, tickets start for Halloween Horror Nights at $79, which is a pretty good price. If we're going to go up from there, if we want to get to the park a little bit earlier than that 6:30 start time, you can sign up for Scream Early. So Scream Early is an extra $40, and that gives you access to Universal Orlando from 3 to 5. So you can go and ride some attractions, have something to eat, relax, maybe queue up like Brian was saying earlier, and be ready for the opening for 6:30.
So that's just an add-on ticket that you can purchase,
Mhm.
but
Yes,
only if
and
you're
you-
staying at a property?
Separately. Nope. Just like, I guess if you're on property or just a day visitor.
That's a pro tip. So you don't have to buy a full day's ticket
No.
in order to buy the Scream Early ticket.
Oh, well then yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So that is kind of, I just want to highlight that because I had kind of been telling people today, well, you're going to have to buy a whole day's ticket. And it's going to save you if you don't want to buy an express pass. It might save you just to buy a full day's ticket to do Stay and Scream. But Scream Early, that is a fantastic option and a relatively affordable option to add on if you're, like we said, if you're just going to do one night at Horror Nights.
Yes. Okay. So then after that, if we want to do either an express pass or Unmasking the Screams tour, both start at $119 per person. Express pass, similar to day visitors, you'll have access for your rides and the haunted houses, which is great. Me, I would buy it just to go on the rides, skip the houses, go on the rides.
Which honestly, the
and
wait
it's-
times were like every one of them was less than 15.
I'm sure, because everyone's focused on the houses, so maybe I wouldn't need to buy it. And then the Unmasking the Scream tour is $119 for 3 houses or $169 for 6 houses. And that's the sort of like behind the scenes, how does it work? Let's go on when the lights are on and see how the houses are operating and
seems
how
so
they're
cool.
decorated.
I've always
really
wanted to
get
do
a
that.
chance
Yeah,
to dig in with that. Yeah,
we should do that.
We should.
very, very cool. Let's go, guys! Come on.
You would do that with us, Liz?
Then I would.
Okay.
I like the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, we loved behind the scenes a couple of weeks ago. I love that bird's eye view.
Right.
But then they have a couple of like fear passes starting at $229 if you think you're in the area, or maybe you're a college program participant, or you're living within driving distance. They start at $229 for either 30 or 40 nights. And if you want to buy tickets for every single Halloween Horror Nights that's operating, it's only $374.
Yeah, that's
Which-
really not that bad. Now, is there
Girl
one that
math?
includes
math?
Express Pass?
No.
Okay.
Girl math, it would be like $8 a night. That's basically free. So I think it would be worth it for some folks. And you do get parking with that top tier pass. But
Right.
I think what folks will find the most value in, especially if you're going with a group of people, is their RIP tours. They do public and private. The public ones, if you're a group of less than 7, you can sign up for that. And it's only $329. And you get a tour guide, you get a welcome reception when you get there, you get Express Unlimited. Like, to me, that's just a no-brainer. Or do a private tour if you just want to have you and your closest friends.
Now, $329 is per person.
Yes, per person, and does not include the ticket pricing.
Right.
So that is separate.
Okay.
But let's all live like Anna Delvey, very VIP. I think that's the
Very
energy
VIP.
we need. Energy we need for the rest of this year and next year. And I can girl math that for us too. I'm all in on girl math in the last 3 weeks. So we can make that work. And at least if you're going to Universal for just one day, it's worth the money.
Right. So Stacy Starstuff says yes. Once you do an RIP tour, you never want to do anything else, but the price does go up depending on the night.
Yes. We were
Yes,
looking
and
at Friday the 13th, right? And the
yes,
prices have been crazy for that, but
and
it's a spooky day.
Yeah.
and they sell out too. So there are
Mhm.
some of the, like the group ones. I think Liz, was it us that we were talking about? That the group, some of the group ones have sold out. So the only option on some nights is to do private ones. So
Mm-hmm.
that is goals too. But I will
Mhm.
say that you can. Somebody said that though that they had an express pass and they couldn't do all of them in one night. I don't know how that's not possible.
Something must have been down there.
Yeah,
I don't know how they did that.
yeah. So I would say you can with an express pass. You can do it as long as you stay. I mean, we were, to be honest, cutting it slightly close. We were towards the end of the night when we were
It
doing
was
our
like
last house,
12:30, yeah.
and we weren't really doing. We did some food.
Mhm.
We didn't really pay attention too much to any of
It's
the
all
shows or
your
scare zones. Yeah, but if you want to get all 10 houses done with the express pass, you do have to stay on track. Like you can't.
yeah.
The express pass doesn't mean you just walk on. It's
Mhm.
just you have
It's
a
just
very reduced wait time.
Mhm.
right.
So
But with the RIP tour, you have a priority
That
queue.
you literally
So
walk up front.
just saying that could be a determinator. If you want to snack and ride the mummy and go to the Stranger Things house, you might need to
Mhm.
open up your
Yep.
wallet.
so you have a lot of options on how to elevate or enhance your
Yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights.
A little bit of everything. We can always chat about what might work best for you and your friends or family. I can make
Mhm.
recommendations, and we can go from there. There's
So if
only,
you
45 more nights of Halloween Horror Nights.
That's
You can
right.
always plan for next year if you're thinking about going. I'm sure things might shift even just a little bit, but we can kind of set a game plan for what next fall would look like for you.
I would also say if you want a hotel room the opening weekend of Horror Nights, make sure you plan in advance on that because
Mhm.
we were kind of wanting to do that and then we waited too long and we couldn't snag a room because we didn't make the decision quickly enough. But if you are interested in working with Liz to plan your next trip, just scan the QR code. We'll also link below once we edit the description of this post so that you can easily get in touch with Liz so that she can help you plan your next trip. So we have a few questions. What is y'all's favorite house so far? So our top 3, we've done all 10, the Caffeinated Nerd, and we talked about all of that in this episode, so you can replay it, but we'll just give you our top 3. Number 3 is Blood Moon, number 2 is Yeti, and number 1 is Dueling Dragons for us. That's our top 3. So somebody asked over on TikTok when my first year for Horror Nights was, and it was last year actually.
Mhm.
I had been probably about 10 or 15 years ago, but I really was not into it back then, and I went to support a friend at the time and
Why, were you
did
scared?
one of the house. Yeah, because I didn't like this stuff. But now, it's just with Horror Nights, you really there's less opportunities to be scared because you literally are a line of people going through and you can see what scares are coming up at you.
Mhm.
So,
Ooh, no
but
thanks.
while I don't love the scares, I value more the craftsmanship, both in the set design and costuming, and then I like the storytelling. I like when a house tells a story, and that's for me why Dueling Dragons is number 1 this year. So.
Mhm.
Caffeinated Nerd is asking about what is the minimum and maximum number of people for a private tour.
Minimum, it could be yourself. And I want to say max is around 10, but I'll have to look that up and get back to you. Stay tuned.
All right, so we're going to play a game now, right?
Yeah, if that was everything, Liz.
Yes, so we're going to play a game now. TJ is doing a trivia with us.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep this really brief because we're coming up on the hour mark. So this game is titled What Am I? And this is Disney edition. So basically this is going to be a quiz. This one's going to be a little harder because we're true Disney fans, but I want to see if you two can get these and guess
I'm
who
ready.
or what they
All right,
are.
so we're going totally off topic tonight
yeah,
with the
we're,
quiz.
we're switching
We're
gears.
switching gears. Okay,
Mhm.
I had my Halloween Horror Nights cap on, so now we're going to Disney. Okay, go for it.
All right, so the first question. I am a reclusive wood carver who creates intricate clocks and is known for my love of solitude
Geppetto.
and hopes to become a father again. Who am I?
Wait, are we
Geppetto?
just shouting out answers,
Wait.
or are we?
You gotta let me hit the buzzer first. Let me finish the question. But yes,
It's so chaotic already.
but yes, Liz, that is correct. It is Geppetto. Let me hear Matt in the background.
Yeah, I can hear Matt. I can hear the TV too. I can hear my voice.
I can hear Matt.
Matt, turn the
I know,
TV
he
down.
refuses to put his AirPods on, even though I've asked him 3
Oh
times.
gosh, I've heard my voice the whole night through.
I didn't hear
Matt.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
but also
It's the hottest night in Philadelphia. I have to keep the door open.
No,
Oh.
it's totally fine.
yeah, let's also give some time to let our guests answer as well in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Leah's.
So guys, if you're just joining, we are not doing Halloween Horror Nights anymore. We're doing a Disney Who Am I based on clues that TJ's giving.
Mhm.
So we have switched gears. So those on TikTok, I think you can be able to hear TJ. So put your answers in. And then those on YouTube who are watching, please type in your responses to what the prompts that TJ is giving. Or Liz can just yell it out.
I might yell it out. And for the VIP tours, it's a max of 12. So I wasn't too far off.
Okay. That's what I thought. It was either like 10 or so.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question, Chelsea, you better get this one right. I'm a cursed pirate ship that sails the seas, crewed by undead skeletons. Who am I?
How long do we have?
5 more seconds.
Do you know the answer, Brian?
It's the black something.
Mm-hmm. And earlier I went like this.
I'm gonna read it one more. I'm gonna read it one more time. I'm a cursed pirate ship that sails the seas.
Yeah, Chelsea, you're not listening.
By undead skeletons. What am I?
You had us on mute? How dare you, Chelsea?
What?
Yes, the black pearl.
Correct.
That's what it was, and that's why Liz clutched her pearls. All right, next.
Yeah. All right, so this one is actually going to be a little trickier. I'm a rare flower that grows deep in the jungle, sought after for my magical properties. What am I?
Is it the flower from? Is it the flower from Wakanda?
No.
Or Black Panther?
Oh, I was thinking Rapunzel. Entangled. I don't know what it's called though.
I'll give a hint. It's a somewhat recent movie.
A White Lotus.
So I want to pause real quick because somebody on I'm sorry, somebody on TikTok just said I have friends who want to go, and I think that Halloween Horror Nights, but I am spoiled with the Disney service. So here's my thing about that is at Universal, I think over the last weekend, I have had some of the best guest service.
Oh, I was gonna mention that. Yeah,
the best guest service at Universal Studios. Superior to anything that Disney is offering right now, and I'm a Disney fanboy. Like that is Disney. I'm right there.
Yeah, I grew up Disney. It's in our hearts. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. But to say that Universal, at least right now in time, doesn't have service or isn't giving good service, you need to go and visit Universal because their team members right now are far superior in terms of service than Disney right now. I mean, I had to react to that, but
no, I'll say like Disney, I feel like they have to go by the books, so they can't go off script by any means. Whereas Universal, they're kind of not fly by the pants, but they're more laid back. And so they can interact with you in like fun ways and be more relaxed with it and have fun with it.
But we've had some good service over the last weekend with Universal. So, all right. So next one. Sorry, we're gonna go back to the game. Sorry.
No,
my
I'm
little
gonna
rant right there.
read that question one more time, and then I'll give the answer.
Sorry.
I'm a rare flower that grows deep in the jungle, sought after for my magical properties. Any guesses?
Nope.
No.
So this one is actually the night bloom from Jungle Cruise.
Okay, I have no idea what that. Oh, is it from the movie?
Yes.
Oh, I've only seen that movie once.
Yeah.
Would you? Okay, so if you hadn't done the research on that question, you wouldn't have known either.
You wouldn't have known.
You don't know that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So the next one, I am a wise ancient tree in a mystical forest, and I hold the secrets to the past and the future. Who isn't afraid to crack a joke? Who am I?
I know this one.
I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. The people in the chat.
We'll give the crew a chance to.
Is the name
Whippersnapper.
Caffeinated Nerd agreed with my team member rant for Horror Nights.
Mm-hmm. You were on your soapbox there for a minute, but it was worth it.
You know what? I call out I call out things as I see them and as I experience them.
All right. So Chelsea actually put in the correct answer. It is Grandmother Willow.
And that's what I was going to answer too.
Yep.
Okay. Good job.
I know. I want credit.
All right. Do we have one more?
All right. So I guess we'll do one more. Let me pick one. I'm gonna do a hard one. I am a mischievous and magical creature who can manipulate time and space and befriends a young traveler. Who am I?
That could be a lot of things.
This is from Strange World or whatever it's called.
I hope not.
No.
Hopefully you didn't give any of that lie today.
No, I'll give you a hint. It's one of the original Disney classics.
Time travel.
I'll read it
Treasure
again.
Planet?
That's not an original Disney classic.
Yes, it is.
It's old, but it's not a classic. I'm a mischievous and magical creature who can manipulate time and space and befriends a young traveler. Who am I?
I don't know. Chelsea thought it was Aquafina.
Jiminy
Yeah.
Cricket?
Nope.
Time and Space?
Hmm.
The Blue Fairy?
Who?
The Blue Fairy.
Glinda the Good Witch?
That's not Disney.
No, so the answer is actually the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, well, that was too vague. There needs to be
That's
one
a
little
trick.
clue that it was an animal. Like,
Okay.
there was nothing that we could even get
The
from
cat
it
was
to,
on
like, place
acid.
the person. You could have said, like,
That was
I
acid.
have stripes or something,
Mhm.
you know?
That would have been
All right,
a
well,
dead giveaway.
All right, I'll give one more that's easier since that
Okay.
one I guess you couldn't
Redemption.
guess. All right,
Redemption.
I'm a magical house that helps a family discover their magical powers and helps them restore them after finding out a long family secret. Who am I?
Columbia.
Thanks, Liz.
Liz is giving away the answers.
Nuh-uh. I just happened
Nuh-uh.
to name a tree. I didn't give anything away.
All right.
But yes, the caffeinated nerd put in the correct answer.
Casita.
Yeah, House Casita.
Casita.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, that's our game.
That's our show. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I know we're a little crazy here.
Don't forget to tune in tomorrow when we put the actual YouTube video out for all things Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes.
It's going to go into much better detail than what we tried tonight.
We did a great job tonight. I
mean,
don't know
we-
what you're talking about.
Okay, we did a great job, but we'll go into even more detail.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
And you'll see visuals to go along with
Mhm.
it. That's something we have to do tonight is once we're done with the show, I'm going to preview it because TJ edited it. So
Yeah.
I have to preview and have to
Give the notes.
give notes.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I'm only
And then
kidding.
also don't
I'm only
forget
kidding.
to Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yes, so you'll see the link, the QR code to our Patreon. Come join our Patreon. We are going to be revealing, I keep saying we are, and I swear we are. We're going to be starting to do giveaways.
Mhm.
In September, we're going to do a giveaway. It's a public giveaway, but if you join our Patreon, you'll be able to give input on what we talk about on the show,
You
show
get-
your support, as
Mhm.
well as
Get
you'll be
extra entries.
not extra, you just get automatically entered to win.
Okay, yes.
We have to stay legal, so
Yes.
you'll just
Zoom
automatically.
Q&A.
Yes. So come join us over on Patreon. Thank you so much for joining
Mhm.
us tonight. Thank you, Liz, for bringing your insights. And we will see you you all next week right here on
Colombia.
Parkside Chat. Okay, Liz. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
It's better than Remy. Bye, guys.
Run me to me.